TERF Talk Tuesday. My name is Kellie-Jay. TERF Talk, you can say you are, you don't have to. What would you like to say?
And honestly, I did want to jump through the screen and say, you're a fucking bloke, fuck off. I really did.
You try and talk to me about how I should speak, and then you tell me that because I facilitate spaces in which women can speak, that I need more nuanced approach. Are you actually having a laugh?
Hey ladies, what's up?
Recently had twin daughters. I gave birth about 3 months ago.
I'm through. Oh my God, hello.
The approach you're taking is causing violence on both sides.
This stuff used to make me angry, and now it makes me furious.
So even the questions about gynecologists were all gender neutral.
I'm looking after my elderly mother who's terminally ill. A nurse, a senior nurse, to do an assessment on her. And by all accounts, I was expecting a woman. It wasn't a woman, turned out to be a man. Calling himself a woman.
Transgender, and I was told I could not refuse a transgender person. So I didn't have the smear then. I just said, okay, I want to cancel it. So I haven't had one since.
A lot of my friends are really indoctrinated, but yeah, I do have hope. I think we can get through this and win. So yeah.
Hello, good evening. How the devil are you? Oh my goodness. At one point I was nearly there with the tech. So anyway, it's TERF Talk. I'm going to take my glasses off for a little bit. I just feel too blind. Whilst I'm waiting for you lovely people to get on board as to what TERF Talk does, I'm gonna play you a video. This was a few weeks ago when I spoke to the lovely Kay. I'm going to put the numbers across the bottom. Look, the way TERF Talk works is you call, I listen, we chat. If you're in Australia, it's 1-800-959-819. New Zealand is 800-441-607. United States, 877-729-1771. If you're in Canada, it's 888835-6088. The rest of the world, country code 204-515-2251. And if you're in the UK, it is 0800. I better open the lines, really. 0800-058-4204. Okay, the numbers again. 1-800-959-819 if you're in Australia. These are free phone numbers. If you're in New Zealand, you can phone 1-800-959. No, that's Australia. 800-441. 607. If you're in the United States, it's 877-729-1771. And Canada, it's 888835-6088. If you're wondering what the hell this is all about, why we do it, I'm going to play you a clip from TERF Talk Tuesday when I was running it. I did a Twitter space. And Kay phoned in. And this is why you need to be vigilant with your elderly relatives. Welcome to TERF Talk. You can say you are, you don't have to. What would you like to say?
Hi, Kellie-Jay. Hiya. My name's Kay. I want to share something that happened about a month ago.
Yeah.
And it was so distressing. And I've only just come on this, and I'll have to go off soon because I'm going for a massage.
Lovely. Well done.
But I'll catch up later and watch it on YouTube as well. But what happened was, as you know, I am looking after my elderly mother who's terminally ill, and doing quite a good job of it, I must say. But it's quite full on. And about a month ago, they sent a nurse, a senior nurse, to do an assessment on her. And by all accounts, I was expecting a woman. It wasn't a woman, turned out to be a man.
God.
Calling himself a woman, woman's name. I've got the text, looked it up afterwards on various things, including Facebook, and which I don't do, but I did a bit of research, and it turns out this person is training
Right.
other nurses in this as a trans inclusion training in the
Oh,
NHS.
of course, yeah. Let's spend some money on
And
that.
I'm having a few palpitations now just recalling it all. I was so upset. But the lady who has had that 10-year relationship with her consultant,
Yes.
it made me think of that as well, because I felt powerless. If it'd been me, I'd have said out. But because it was my mother, I did stop him doing some things that I didn't think were appropriate. I said, no, you won't be doing that. I said, the last time somebody did, a man tried to do that, she didn't like it. It was out of my mouth before I knew what I'd said. But that's okay. Anyway, cut a long story short, he went, and when my mother realised that had been a man, she cried.
That's just horrific, Kay.
She cried, and she said, I don't like all this man-woman thing, because she knows what's going on. She understands. She's very compass mentis. She's a very clever woman. She's done some amazing stuff in her life. But it really upset me. But at the time, I had to respond or react in an opposite way to what I felt like. I wanted to, whatever. I was so angry, peeved, the word is, angry and upset at the same time. I was so angry, and I wanted to react in a certain way. But in order to not do that, I had to react in the opposite way and be polite and friendly. Do you know what I mean? Just to protect my mum, as I say.
See, this is this. So I'm going to upload the whole thing as a separate conversation. But I just like when I listen to Kay talk about that, and I don't know how you feel about things like that. It reminds me of all the other times. It's the same thing as when men impose themselves upon you, like unwanted attention. Now, I know some men get very upset about this idea that women have unwanted attention, and the fact that it's oh, if he was good looking and young, or if he was this, or if he was your cup of tea. But the point about unwanted attention, right? It's that even when a woman doesn't give any signal that she's interested in that attention, it's still pursued. Right? So some attention is never going to be very nice. It's never going to be the sort of attention you want. And some attention is going to be kind of an opener, right? So sometimes I've been places. I've been so many places. But I've been in a situation where I've walked into a shop and someone said, "Oh hello, what's your hello classy or whatever, what's your name?" I probably was looking quite nice. This might not have been this year. It might have been quite a few years ago. And it's like, "Oh, all right, hello, class, or you're classy. What's your name or something?" And I've just gone, which is a kind of leave me alone. And I think I must have been about 40 at the time. So I certainly am not like a giggly schoolgirl, right? So I've just given him I'm not interested. And then he said, "Oh, come on. Oh, I can't. A classy woman like you," or something, anyway. And I made it quite clear, and I busied myself. And then he still pursued it, right? So what women have to do in those moments, and I can't speak for men because I'm not one, but what women have to do in those moments is that we have to do a million calculations really, really quick. Will this person now leave me alone? Will they get a bit closer? Will their friends join in? Do they have any friends with them? Where am I? What's my escape route? And I don't mean like, oh my God, I'm going to have to run for my life, because I don't necessarily think that is a conscious thing that I'm thinking. But so many of us women have been in a situation where we have to really negotiate. You have to smile a little bit, but not too much. You have to kind of give an offish, I'm not interested, but not too much. You have to give off you don't want to make them think that you're afraid, or that you find them creepy. You can't do any of those things. You have to really kind of front it out. And I think that's the same kind of calculations as every single person that man that Kay talked about has ever gone in their house. They've had to think, certainly, especially when you're in the house on your own, when you're and you're vulnerable, which most of the women that he will be visiting as a woman, most of those women will be vulnerable, right? So it's just very, it's a proper. I definitely think, just because most of them I think are like this.
I use public toilets and I piss on the seat.
I definitely think that they enter into these spaces and they enter into these professions, and he knows that he's doing this job. And I can guarantee you, I would put serious cash on this, that is part of the appeal. Going into vulnerable women's houses, making them feel uncomfortable, enjoying it, is part of the whole reason that man is doing that job. Dave Upton, whatever his name is, Angus Upton, his half of the reason he goes to work like that, if not the whole reason, is to make patients feel uncomfortable. Women and staff, is make them to feel uncomfortable. The idea that he didn't think that anybody would be uncomfortable with him in a female changing room is, in my opinion, bullshit. I think it's untrue. I think that every man that wears women's clothing to work and goes into women's spaces, I think much of the motivation to use those women's spaces is because they are sexually aroused by making women uncomfortable. So it's not a byproduct. I think we all sort of go, oh, he doesn't care. He does care. He does. He absolutely does care. That's exactly why he's in there. That's exactly why any man in the NHS, any of them in the NHS, in care work, in teaching, any of them, the reason they go out in public, the reason they go into their workspace dressing as a woman is because they want women and girls to feel uncomfortable. They want people to feel uncomfortable. They want to walk around their local supermarket making girls and women feel uncomfortable. And I know that kind of honesty makes some people feel uncomfortable. There are reasons that some women are invited repeatedly onto things and some aren't. And I just don't think there's a good reason. I just won't believe it. I just won't believe that there is a good reason to do this. I think the motivation is very much to make women and girls just feel terrible. Anyway, we shall resume with
too much longer, although sometimes I say she's probably going to outlive the lot of us. So I'm just biding my time with this whole thing. But I have just had a conversation with social services, not about that, but they keep harassing, they were almost like harassing us in the end and sending all these people who don't know what they're doing and blah, blah, blah. And I've just said, look, let's just finish this now because we don't need you anymore, because they keep putting us into urgent care and crisis and things like this on and off the last couple of years. But anyway, so I've just finished the relationship with social services quite amicably, and so I'm quite happy about that. But I will deal with it in the future. But I did go to that vigil yesterday as well. That was very important, and I do what I can. And the talk at the Free Speech Brighton and all that business, which I can send you at some point if you want. But yeah, I will definitely be dealing with it, but that will have to be just put on the back burner for the moment because there's too much going on, and my priority obviously is to just make my mum as comfortable as possible. I'm
not going to lie.
So anyway,
I feel like I could cry hearing that. It's so upsetting.
It's wicked, Kelly. It's wicked.
I mean, it's like he might be just a vile. I just don't think anything nice of these men that want to come and invade women, erode women's boundaries, and be in places when they know they shouldn't be. And if they don't know that elderly women are not going to, and vulnerable women are not going to want them around and clock them as men, then they are sociopaths and they shouldn't be around anyone with any capacity whatsoever. And if they do know, then maybe they're psychopaths. But either way, there are numerous people who knew that they would be putting that man in a position where he would be faced with potentially a lone woman. I mean, thank goodness you were there.
Exactly, absolutely. I won't let any of them see her without me being present.
It's just it, and Kay,
but there's an awful lot of vulnerable.
Yeah, go on.
A lot of vulnerable elderly women and men, probably, that don't have anyone to advocate for them. I mean, the GP did say you're a very good advocate for your mother, and the social services head of I've just spoken to this department I wasn't very happy with. They've just said, good on you, sort of thing. So I'm doing the best, but there's a lot of vulnerable elderly people who don't have anyone to advocate, who are on their own. Apart from being lonely, they're very vulnerable because they're on their own. And, it's just plain wrong, isn't it? I think it's evil. I really do think it's evil. I didn't used to believe in evil, but I do now.
I definitely do. I really, really do. I think it's gaslighting as well, because let's say that you hadn't been there and there was a vulnerable woman on her own, and then she phones up and she says, you sent a man, and they're like, no, we sent Janet round. No,
exactly.
It was definitely a man. No, we sent Janet. Oh, he was too rough with me. Well, we sent Janet. It is disgusting, and I think you're absolutely right. I think I think a lot of things are evil these days that I didn't used to, and I'm a gold star atheist. But someone said many people find a path to religion through the belief in the devil. So,
well, the first carer then came the next day. And it was definitely a woman. And I said, are you a biological woman?
Well, I said, I went for surgery.
Looked a bit strange and said yes. And then I said, I just want to make it clear, we don't want any men. And they still sent a man one day. I said, goodbye. I didn't even let him in,
Well, I went for surgery, and I didn't know, but when you go under a general anaesthetic, there has to be a female in the room. Why is that? Oh, because men are so great when women are unconscious. Apparently, they can't even be trusted when they're operating on us, not to interfere with us. So there's always a woman in the room, which I think should inform all men that, for fuck's sake, what are you doing? But anyway, I said, when they said that, I said, will it definitely be a woman? And they looked at me like I was speaking Japanese. And I said, well, I'm just asking, is it definitely a female? Now, they said yes. It's policy, but at no point did they say yes, of course, none of them would have penises. So we still don't know. I mean, all the noise comes out where people go, oh, there's this wonderful thing that's happened. I don't trust a damn thing. I think everything is political spin. We know that the Tavistock shut, right? And then they've just opened up mini Tavistocks all over the country. So I don't believe any of this shit. But well, much love to you and your mum, and thank goodness she's got
Thank you for letting me share that, because I think it was good that I shared that. She'll feel better now. And I hope you get the GP. If not, just go to a private one.
I will do that, but thanks.
But take care of yourself and sort that chest out.
I know it's terrible. Thanks.
Chest infection. I mean, take care.
Cheers. Bye.
Thanks, Kelly. Bye.
Bye. See, this is what we do. Oh, look, and I've got a similar color top on as well. Now I want to tell you something. All. Thanks, Wesley. Yes. There is a case in France right now, 299 raped children, I think this is, under anesthetic. I think it's children. Might be women. Either way, victims of sexual assault, repeated sexual assault by some man. I mean, look, what we know is that the number of men that rape is high enough that we should be afraid, but it's low enough that it is a minority of men, right? It is a very small minority of men. They really do get about, these predators. They spend their lives working out ways to get to people. And so we just have to be very mindful with our safeguarding, which is why anything that makes people not so vigilant with safeguarding, whether it's a man who's a part of a religion and gets away with it, or a man that is a scout leader, or a sports coach, or a football manager, or claims to be the opposite sex, or any of those things. Anyone that comes with any sort of shield or protection where you don't feel you can ask the right questions, where you kind of feel too embarrassed, or that you might be an ist or an obia if you ask them something, right? Anything that comes with that sort of layer where you don't scrutinize them as much, that's when safeguarding really needs to be applied, because it cannot bend, right? Safeguarding cannot bend. I have just realized I had not opened the phone lines, but if you want to ring, it's 0800 058 4204. Australia is 1800 959 819. New Zealand is 800 441 607. United States of America is 877 729 1771. Canada is 888 35 6088. And the rest of the world, 204 515 2201. Teacher, doctor, officer, all of them. All of them. It's just completely crazy. Speaker's Corner was fantastic this time around. What else was I going to talk to you about? Oh, somebody just mentioned it then. Me. I mentioned it. So let me just tell you this. In the United Kingdom, we have 1,590 days maximum until we have our next general election. It's now or never. We've got kind of 4 years to get our asses in gear. So 3, maybe 4 years, just over 4 years. In that time, we need to have a proper campaign to repeal the GRA. Everyone needs to be talking about that, getting rid of the Equality Act, getting rid of gender identity, all those things. That's what we need to be doing. And if we can't do that, then goodness knows what's going to happen. Because we don't know that Reform and the Conservative Party will join. We don't know that they're going to say the right things. We don't know. We do know that Labour is going to get worse and worse and worse. So we really have got this window, this 4 years, which is going to seem like an eternity, I can assure you,